Do baby Amano shrimp actually need salt water? Can you raise these larvae in fresh water? Why do they actually even need brackish or salt water to survive? Today we're going to be moving baby Amano shrimp larvae back to freshwater now that they're actually no longer larvae. These are post-larvae. That means they're basically baby Amano shrimp. This is the critical step that few people understand, and it's the moment where most breeders fail. If you look closely, these are no longer floating larvae. They have transformed. So I'm getting this breeder box ready here. I'm going to be adding salt water from this grow out tank that it's clipped onto. You'll see that that coffee filter we were just looking into is right here, clipped onto the grow out. And I've caught some Amano shrimp inside. So I'm getting this breeder box ready with salt water. And while I do that, let's talk about whether or not mono shrimp larvae need salt water or brackish water to survive and why. Adult Amano shrimp live in freshwater. They carry their eggs there because the adults are not designed to handle salt water and the eggs are not designed to handle salt water. So for an Amano shrimp's eggs to properly develop, they've got to be in fresh water. Now, once the Amano shrimp eggs actually hatch, they have to be moved to salt water. The larvae are like tiny plankton. In the wild, they would normally get swept down river into the ocean. And in freshwater, they don't have the right biology to stay alive. Their bodies literally stop working within a few days if they don't hit salt water. Now, I've got a couple more of these Amano shrimp larvae in this grow out tank that just simply were not ready to be moved out yet. And it's interesting to observe that they develop at different rates. So, although the majority of them have completed that process of basically morphing from a tiny little planktonic larva into visibly what looks exactly like a tiny version of an Amano shrimp, some of them just kind of are lagging behind. So we'll get a close-up look next of the larvae that still have not fully developed into baby shrimp. So these shrimp have been in salt water now for 37 days. And if you look in this saltwater grow out, there's still 4 or 5 of them that haven't finished their metamorphosis into tiny shrimp. These larvae stay in the salt for 30 to 60 days to grow and molt. Once they transform into post-larvae, basically tiny little versions of Amano shrimp, that's the signal. At that exact moment, they actually lose their tolerance for salt. If I leave them in the salt water for too long, they will eventually perish. So the way I can tell that these last few shrimp in the grow out are not yet ready to come out is because the way they're more or less floating around, swimming up towards the light backwards. This is how they eat in their planktonic stage. They don't possess the ability yet to crawl and climb on the walls of the aquarium and pick at algae. So whatever they eat comes from the water column. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and transfer them. You'll see some of the Amano shrimp babies that have been growing out in this saltwater container now for over 30 days. And this is the second batch that I'm taking out of the grow out at this time. Pretty simple stuff to get them moved over. So I'm going to start taking out some of the water here. But this is a good time if you're breeding Amano shrimp at home. This is a good time to check closely in this salt water and just make sure if there's any debris in there or algae or anything that you don't want to possibly transfer over into your freshwater aquarium. This would be a good time to get it out of there. I'm going to go ahead and remove the majority of this salt water so we can begin the transition process. So here's kind of a top-down view of the baby Amano shrimp. And by the way, these are lemon yellow Amano shrimp. You may have noticed that already, that they're very yellow in color. Pretty rare in the hobby. And here's a view from the side of the breeder box where we can really see here there is some variable in the color, but for the most part, they all seem very yellow. Okay, so now I'm going to add the first little bit of fresh water here. And this is going to start the process of acclimating these shrimp back to fresh water. And I'm using water from the aquarium that they're going to be going into. And over the course of the next several hours, I'll just slowly add a little water at a time like that. And in my experience so far, I have very minimal loss. So here's a look at the freshwater aquarium that those baby Amano shrimp we just moved. Their brothers and sisters have been in this aquarium in full freshwater now for 3 days, and they're doing great. They're in here with some baby Neocaridina shrimp, and these baby shrimp will be joining them here in just a few hours. So if you want to see these little guys make it, and if the colony thrives, make sure you check out my channel where I'll be posting progress updates. I'm documenting the success or failure of this project, and the best part is you can do it at home too using my low-tech methods on the playlist on my channel. This is the first documented homebred colony of lemon yellow Amano shrimp ever seen on YouTube, so make sure you check in on the channel. Appreciate you watching, and we'll see you in the next one.